Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? I am Adrian Mickens. I am here with my host, Antonio Storms. We want to come to you guys today just to give you guys a little tech talk. We got a few different episodes we're going to do throughout the year, but we're just going to go ahead and kick this week off. We're going to start this episode with what are the Windows 11 capabilities and the differences between the two. My guy Antonio here. He's a Mac man, but he works with all clients of all kinds, and they have all kind of questions, whether it's Windows or whether it's Apple. So, Antonio, what's some of the things that you hear about Windows 11 versus past versions?
Well, I know there's some minor stylistic changes, some things that need to be considered that upon first view may be a little harder to find what you used to do in Windows 10. So I want to ask a couple questions about that. One of those is the context menu. Talk to me about that. Tell me what is the significant difference between Windows 11 and Windows 10?
Well, some of the things with the context menu that's kind of the difference, or to kind of simplify this, also could be like what you consider the options menu to a file, whether it's audio, whether it's video, MP3, any of those files that you normally see like on your desktop or in your File Explorer window. One of the key changes, not to complicate it, is that when you right click to do an options menu that can do like
Hmm.
a zip folder, that can rename or copy paste, the wording is no longer there. Everything is just based upon icons. So it's
Yeah.
kind of, you have to know your icons now a little bit more better in order to do what you're doing. Now, that slight little thing can confuse you, but they do have a retro version of it. You just click on show more options. It's the last one down on that list. But they're just trying to slowly move everybody over to looking at it by icons.
Gotcha. And we know change is evident when it
Yes.
comes to all things tech. The one constant is change.
Yeah.
And with that being in mind, talk to me about File Explorer. Are there any major changes with that?
Well, again, small little tweaks. It wouldn't be major changes, but one thing with File Explorer is that I know it's something that we've been wanting to do for a long time, and I think Mac has been doing for quite some time, and that is having a double tabbed menu. So think of
Hmm.
it like Google Chrome or not Internet Explorer, but Microsoft Edge is what they're calling now. They did away with Internet Explorer. You know how you have multi windows,
Yeah.
you know how you can go back and forth if you're
Hmm.
working on a project and you want to listen to music on YouTube. But that's the same thing with File Explorer now. If you're dragging and dropping files over, you can have
Hmm.
multi windows in that File Explorer instead of just going up and down in the taskbar. So again, you got multi windows, which is a
So you're
really pretty
saying
cool.
instead of having two windows side by side, I can have two tabs inside of one window
Yep,
to manage what I'm doing a lot better.
correct.
Okay,
Absolutely,
that makes
absolutely.
sense.
They
That
finally
makes
made that
sense.
available.
Okay, okay, and I do like that about Mac. I love that feature.
I know you.
I use it all the time. We have a whole conversation about that. Um, okay, so let's talk about the taskbar. I heard there's some changes around that. Talk about something significant there, please.
Yeah, I mean, again, nothing like drastic or major. This
Hmm.
one actually is a subtraction feature.
Mm,
It does a lot of things, slide up, slide down now, and different things like that. But it's actually two things. One thing is on previous Windows versions, we used to be able to move the taskbar to the
mhm,
right or to the left or to the bottom and different things like that. It's strictly on the bottom now. You can't move it
mm,
to the left or the right of the screen. It's just locked to the bottom. Also, too, you can't drag and drop files down to the bottom of the taskbar and then it double clicks and opens up. So you just
mm,
already have to have that window open that you're working on to
mhm.
drag and drop the file. You can still drag and drop, but you can't drag and drop down to the taskbar. That's the only thing. And again, you can't rotate it where you want to left, right, or up. I think it did up. I even with some of mine, I put it on the right. It was just more comfortable for me. But always at the bottom. Always at the bottom.
Okay, okay. Um, and again, with technology, like we said earlier, the one constant is change.
Hmm.
Uh, there are changes in the way people use computers nowadays.
Yeah.
And talk to me about one of the major changes, stylistic you're seeing in how they're designing computers, based on people's use of computers.
Well, some of the styles and changes. One thing that I've seen is the USBs.
Mhm.
USBs have changed dramatically. I know it's like a running joke that now iPhone users use the good old C charger.
Oh Lord.
So,
Yes, yes, we
but
do. It's a great change, by the way. It's a good
yes,
change.
see,
I will say that.
for the everyday user, and again, we want to break this down. The C
Mhm.
charger is not just a charger; it is a faster data cable than your standard USB A input source. And so now, when you're specifically laptops, the desktops still have a lot of USB inputs for multifunctionality that a desktop computer do. And trust me, a
Mhm.
laptop can do it too. But I always try to explain to people, um, a laptop is just a bite-sized version of a desktop. Even though they do the same, and even though you can live stream, when you
Mhm.
really start to want to do a lot of in connectivity and have a whole bunch of cameras and running multi windows and you need a mainframe is what I always tell them. But a part of that is that they're changing laptops to no longer accept USB A thumb drives or
Mhm.
hard drives. So you have to be cautious when you're going to the store now to make sure because they haven't completely moved away from hard drives with USB agent for whatever reason. So you have to be cautious when you're getting them to make sure that it has a USB C because what will happen is you'll get ready to transfer a file with somebody,
Mhm.
or you think if you're running to a meeting, you're going to pop your thumb drive in to somebody's computer to show your PowerPoint presentation, and they only have USB C inputs. And so
Yeah.
go buy an adapter. They do sell
Yes.
the adapters, USB C to USB, plug that in. That's going to be your absolute best bet. Because again, I don't want you to be rushing to a meeting or rushing to play a file somewhere at a church. You got a dance or something, dance ministry. You come in there with a thumb drive and they got the new computer that only has the USB C inputs.
Mhm.
So just start kind of getting those USB Cs, guys, and you'll be safe. You'll be safe.
Okay. Okay. I've even seen like the type that have USB A if you flick it up one way, and the USB C if you flick it down another way. So the same drive, but it can connect to both type of ports depending on what you're using it with. So
Yeah.
they have those things out there, but there is a speed difference between a drive that
Oh
has a
yeah.
USB-C connection versus A.
Oh yeah.
And depending on what you're doing with that, especially like from a video standpoint or a graphic standpoint, you
Mm-hmm.
may need that additional speed in doing what you're doing, and it can greatly change the output of what you're doing or the
Yep.
speed in which you're doing it into
Yep.
completing the project. So
Yep.
that's
Yep.
great knowledge.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And speaking of professional stuff and things you're doing that may take a lot of time, is there anything we need to be aware of from a professional standpoint? Let's say anything in the media department that people need to be aware of with this type of change?
Yes. So let's talk about specifically digital audio interfaces, but really
Hmm.
any hardware for that matter. But for the sake of the conversation, let's talk about audio interfaces. One standard board that all the churches are using now are Behringer, specifically Behringer X32
We
or
use that.
the
Hmm.
compact or the full version, whichever one. The
Definitely.
Behringer, you can connect like a external audio interface card, which is really, 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 really cool.
Hmm.
Um, but it only produces USB 2.0. I tell people I don't care how fancy the board is, the board only produces USB 2.0. And
Hmm.
so with past versions of Windows, it works seamlessly. The bands will pick it up, it'll say channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Of course, you only use 1 and 2, but it gives you different options. So with Windows 11, I have seen a lot of conflictionary features with Windows 11 working with the Behringer board. Now, Here's a simple answer why. If you get a newer computer, just a newer computer with a Windows 11 on it, it's not really accepting the features by USB from the Behringer because it really only wants to produce USB 3.0. Now
Mm,
you might see a couple of slots on there, and
yeah.
really only on a desktop. On a laptop, it's only USB 3.0. But on a
Hmm.
desktop, they might give you two USB slots that are USB 2.0. And
Right.
even when you plug it in there, it might work or it might not work. You're gonna be spending more time trying to get it to work than the way that it's supposed to work by just plugging and playing like you used to. And I tell people all the time, if you have to do all that and you got to use more than one adapter,
Hmm.
uh, just go another route because you're gonna be streaming and it's gonna start either crackling, losing sample rates. It'll just be a mess. So just
And I
prevent
see a
it.
lot of things, that was using two adapters. Usually that breaks the connection. Like it doesn't even
Yeah.
connect at all. So if that's your
Yeah.
solution, that's a bad solution.
Yeah. So just be cautious now when you well, I don't need to say cautious because the Behringers are excellent and it's the
Hmm.
greatest
Great tool.
board on the market for a church that has a wide range of digital features that you can use in the church. So I don't want to tell you not to get a Behringer. What I will tell you is to do a reroute. And a reroute, which is typically, to be honest, better because you can come out from your output source on the
Hmm.
Behringer board and just go into get you a $150-$200 external audio card, or if you already
Okay.
have a video mixer, you can go right. A lot of these video mixers have great line inputs, so you can
Yeah.
go right from the output source on your Behringer into the video card or into an external audio card, and then you will have individual control in that output. So you can mix it down like you're
Hmm.
mixing in the main house. Because see, with the audio card that comes from the Behringer to the computer, it's just kind of like a straight shot. It's just like an even blend with everything, but you get no individual control. So
Hmm.
this way gives you individual control. You can mix, blend, and it can sound. Because again, what you hear in the house is not what
Not
you're going to hear
necessarily.
in the live stream. Okay.
Very true.
It's a
Two
pure
separate things.
recording.
Hmm.
Rooms are different.
Yes.
Our church has carpet, so it absorbs a little bit better. Other
Hmm.
churches do not, and they're larger and they're boomy and
Yep.
echoey.
Higher ceilings makes a difference.
Yeah. We have
Yep.
low ceilings and carpet, so we have the best
Hmm.
uh,
Acoustics.
acoustics for recording. It's just absolutely perfect, low ceiling and carpet. But everybody doesn't have that, so you have to
Hmm.
adjust accordingly. So, and one other key thing too, as well, I want to let everybody know is about the Snap Window Assistant. So, one thing about the Snap Window Assistant is, you know how we would drag a window to the upper corner and then you would
Yeah.
have to look at that little flicker thing and then
Gets a little frustrating. Like, am I getting
hope
this
it was
right? Am
there.
I
Yeah,
putting it there?
correct. So they have caught up to speed with what we do
Hmm.
with dragging the windows, and so they have a whole Windows Assistant now. So you get up to 4 grids, so you can do 2, 3, and 4. It's really cool.
Hmm.
Before it was really only 2, but they've kind of caught up with us. So that's another cool feature with Windows 11. And there's more. Trust me, there's a lot more. But those were just some of the key things of questions that I've heard, and some of them I've seen once I got adjusted on there. It was like the big change, maybe like 10, 12 years ago when
Hmm.
they did Windows 8. I remember when they
Yes.
did Windows 8, they had to pull that back off the market because people just
Lost their mind.
lost their mind. The
Yeah.
navigation was horrible.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of
I
different things.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. That they did an upgrade to 8.1, and that was
Mhm.
tremendously better than 8.
Yes.
So I would never call this that. There
Yeah.
are
And
some
Vista. And Vista.
this so it's that and ME are things we don't talk about. We don't even mention those in conversation. What I will say is that there is a lot of lifestyle changes that have been done, and a lot of them are pretty good changes. Some
Yes,
take a
yes,
little adjusting to, but a lot of some pretty good changes. So
yeah,
I agree. That's something that we need to make sure that if you're coming into Windows 11, know these things, get tired of playing around with it, find your workflow, and you come back and doing great work with it as always.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, everybody, we do appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to our tech talk. Again, we're going to have a lot more of these episodes throughout the year. We want to give you guys some great, great, great,
Hmm.
vital information of the changing technology that's going on. We here at So Hits Communications, not only do we love working on your projects that you guys have us do, we also want to give you guys some great advice that just might
Hmm.
help you if we're not there. That you can just always come back and replay. But if you still need that help, if you still have those questions, if you still say, "Hey, I need to hire the guy," uh, contact us at info@soulhits.com. Again, that's info@soulhits.com. Ask us any of your tech questions. Um, we're not we're not going to wait to get back to you. We're going to get back to you as soon as possible
Hmm.
to make sure we answer all of your tech questions and needs. There's no question too tough. So give us a call. I am Adrian. This is Antonio. We are your web and mobile app developers. Also, video and photography. Let us know. We'll be there. Have a great day, guys.